So let's start standing. Great. And when you make your way to the front of your mat, take a moment to notice your feet. Elevate your toes and spread your toes. And then root them from your pinky all the way to the big toe. And try and find a little bit of pressure through the bottom of the feet. Then reach to the outside of the foot without lifting your big toe. And then settle back to the inside and notice how your feet feel. So I'll repeat that. You can elevate. Let's do it one more time. Elevate all of your toes. Spread all of your toes. And from your pinky toe, one by one, try and root all of your toes to the earth. And keeping your feet pressing firmly, sort of roll to the outer edge of your foot. And then relax back into all four corners, and you should feel really nice and gripped to the earth here. And let's take the palms together and reach up. And lift your gaze. And start right away stretching upward through the side body, reaching from the interior of your hips. And invite your breath. Long, lengthened breaths. And keeping the rootedness of the feet, begin to hinge in your hips, taking a forward fold. And carefully elevate your gaze to a nice flat back. Returning back to forward fold. And then keeping your spine long and lengthened, put your hands on your hips, press into the feet, and rise back to standing. Let's do that again. Palms together, reach forward and up. Breathing. Inhale. Exhaling. Another breath. And then breathing in. Hinging in your hips. Keep your spine long and lengthened. Come to forward fold. Lengthen spine, look out. Still, lengthen spine, exhale, forward fold. Put your hands on your hips and rise to standing. Palms together, reach up. Let's progress this vinyasa. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step back for plank pose now. And notice your shoulders. And start to move around in a very small circle, just shifting the weight from one palm to the other. You could look back and take your feet maybe hip width distance. Keep your spine, again, long and lengthened. And then spreading all of your fingers out. Close the space between your pointer finger and your thumb about halfway. And from there, reach back with your heels. And carefully elevate your hips. Stretch and lengthen through your spine as you reach your heels back. Allowing your head to rest right between your shoulders. Feel that extension as you push your palms forward and into the earth. And focus on that continued length of the spine. Starting to draw the navel in and up, filling the low back. And as you reach back with your heels, feel the elevation of your shin bones. So think about that hinge of your hips again as we came to that earlier forward fold. You can hinge in your hips a little bit, but still draw your navel in and up. So there's a slight compression there. And then bring a little bit of a micro bend to your elbows and play with just micro bending, up and down a little bit. Notice what direction your elbows are pointing. They should be pointing down. And keeping that rotation with the eye of the elbow upward and the elbows pointing down, come back to downward facing dog. Again, tone your belly, pushing forward, extending the spine. Find your breath. And now carefully, look forward. Step forward with your right foot. And then step forward with your left foot. Taking that halfway gaze, you lengthen and look out. Exhale, back to forward fold. Push into your feet. Rise to standing. Palms together, reach up. And then exhale, hands come down to the sides for Samastitihi. And we'll move through that again. Palms together, looking up, Urdhva Namaskara, upward facing prayer. Exhale from your hips, hinge, Uttanasana, forward fold. Gaze and lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Step straight back for plank, Plakasana pose. Really strong, lengthen spine, lightly gaze forward. Let's drop the knees this time. Move your shoulders, your heart and sternum forward as you unwind your spine. And then exhale very slowly, elbows to the sides, lower to the earth. This time, tuck your toes, rise back to plank pose, lift your hips up, and stretch your hips back. Stay right where you arrive. So don't change your feet. As a matter of fact, just look back and notice how your feet are arranged. Are they level with each other and the sides of the mat? And then work the heels back and tone your belly. And find a slight elevation of the armpit, keeping the arms in line with the ears. Again, pushing forward with the palms. Find the tips of your fingers now rooting to the earth a little bit. And when you find that grip of your fingers, you'll find just a slight hollowness in the very center of your palm, just a little bit. You'll feel the padding behind your knuckles, pushing firmly into the earth. And now carefully exhale. Inhale, step forward, right foot. Left foot, still inhaling. Take that halfway gaze, look out. Forward fold. Rise to standing, palms together, reach up. And exhale, palms down. Again, palms together, Urdhva Namaskara, look up, reach up. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold, hinge. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, gaze and lengthen. Straight back for plank, Plakasana pose. Now lower all the way to the earth without dropping your knees. Release your toes and lift your heart, maybe lift your shin bones. And from there, same place, hips up and back. This time readjust your feet all the way together. And try and get your heels reaching back. Spread your fingers, close that space between pointer finger and thumb. Toning through the abdomen. Extending the crown of the head along the length of the arms. Breathing in and out. Very conscious, thoughtful breaths. And look forward, step forward, right foot. Step forward, left foot. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, deeper compression, hinge in your hips. Release your head down and stay here for 3 breaths. And if you need to bring a micro bend to your knees, you can. But mainly feel the abdomen moving towards the quad, right? Moving towards the upper portion of your leg. Feel the sits bones rising to the sky. Feel the stretch of your hamstrings. And then relax your jaw, exhaling through your mouth. Feel the heaviness of your skull. And the heaviness of your eyes. And this time, rise to your fingers. Keep your head tucked. Keep your chin tucked. And then draw your navel up, and vertebrae by vertebrae, begin to rise, unwinding your spine. Palms together, reaching up, lengthening upward. Interlace your fingers, turn them inside out, and stretch your palms to the sky. As you draw your palms back, in line with your ears, come back to drawing the navel in and up, rising from your floating ribs. And then shift your weight to the ball of the foot, to the front of the foot, and elevate your heels. And as you elevate your heels, right, stretch the side body, tone your belly, arms in line with ears, a very gentle and light gaze forward. And then carefully relax your heels. Bend your knees quite a bit. Still interlace fingers. Let's take them all the way down to the earth. If you are not finding the earth with your hands, keep the interlacing of your fingers. Take your feet wider until you do find the earth with your hands. And once you find the earth with your hands, tuck your head in between your shoulders. Push off of your feet. Hollow out your belly and stretch your spine. Come back to the lengthened breath. And then look forward, press your belly down. Bring your arms in line with your ears, push into your feet and rise. Exhale, release your palms out to the sides. As you bring your hands together before your heart, hop your feet hip width distance. Take peace sign fingers facing each other. Return to bending your knees and clasp your big toe. So pointer finger and middle finger wrapping around your big toe, and then your thumb crosses right over the two. Bend your elbows more, broaden through your shoulder blades. Tuck your head in between your shoulders, and then push off of your feet and stretch your hamstrings. This time working for just the length of the spine, so don't round your spine. Right, think of the crown of your head reaching towards the earth as you broaden your scapula, broaden your shoulder blades, and hinge in your hips. As you exhale, feel the crown of your head reaching towards the earth energetically. And muscularly, right, engage the muscles of your arms as you stretch your shoulders wider from each other. You might start to feel your elbows reaching towards the top of your mat, towards the front of your mat. So essentially your chin and sternum are drawing towards your quads as your elbows are reaching towards the physical back of your head. And as you root your feet, now stretch your legs from each other, right? So start to broaden through your pelvis a little bit. Don't move your feet, right? But broaden the space between your femur bones. Still extending, lengthening the spine. Maybe one more breath. And then inhale as you look out, open your eyes. Bend your knees, put your hands on your hips. Push into your feet and rise. Inhale, palms together, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, gaze and lengthen. Bring your big toes towards each other now. So if you took your feet wider, you're going to readjust your feet a little closer. Right? And then as your big toes touch, keep your heels separate. Palms together, reaching up towards the sky. Once you do that, you might find you're in a little bit of a back bend. Right? So again, we want to tone the abdomen, finding a neutral pelvis. Neutral means top of pelvis and bottom of pelvis are in the same line. And that line is in line with your arms and your shoulders, as well as your heels. Take your breath. If comfortable, squeeze your biceps and triceps towards each other as you look up towards your thumbs. And tug on your rib cage. Keep your belly toned, but tug on the rib cage upward. Stretch your lungs. This is Utkatasana, chair pose. Now carefully keep the bend in your knees. Exhale, come to a deeper bend. Bring your hands all the way down to the earth. Touch your fingers, click your heels, look out, flat back. Exhale, back to forward fold. If you can press your palms to the earth, press your palms. If you're pressing your palms, keep your palms pressing. Now look forward, gaze forward, and then step back for plank. And from here, let's drop the knees. Leave your hands where they are. Stretch back for child's pose. If there's any more space, I want you to nudge your hands further forward. Come back to rooting all of the fingers, all four corners of the palm, across the knuckles, across the ball of the hand. Really noticing that space through the inside of the palm. So between pointer finger and thumb, rooting there, and then rooting your pinkies especially too. And then move your head forward and back. And see if you can draw more length to your side body, drawing your rib cage further forward towards the front of the knees. And then tuck your head, round your spine in a cat-like back, rising up. Press your big toes into the earth. Begin to shift forward, finding length through the legs. Squeeze those biceps and triceps in towards your side body. Carefully lower to the earth. Keep your big toes down. Come back to upward facing dog, Bhujangasana. Now elevate your shins. And then from your hips, up. Roll over your toes if you can. Keep that length of your downward facing dog. So you should just have the ball of your foot pressing into the earth. Your heels should be slightly elevated. Continue to lengthen through your spine. Make sure your feet are hip width distance, but don't move forward. Right? You can move them outward, but not forward. And once you find that hip width distance, elevate your left heel. Draw it towards your right foot and set it down. And once your left heel is pressing, I want you to draw your right knee towards your belly. Step forward with that right foot. It might not seem like very much. That's okay. Join your palms. Push off your left foot. Push off your right foot and reach up. You were just a one warrior one. So if you bring your hands to your hips, you should feel like your hips are in the same line as the front of your mat. Right? So right quad moves back, left quad moves forward. Both of your arms are extending and reaching, rooted through the outer edge of your left foot, gazing upward if possible. Try 2 more breaths. And this is the part that's called Vinyasa, right? Flowing breath. So exhale, hands come down. Step back with your right foot. Lower to the earth, that's exhale. Upward facing dog, inhale. Hips rise, back to downward facing dog. Again, notice your feet. We want that hip width distance. Elevate your right heel, drop it towards your left and set it down. Step forward with your left foot. Palms together, reaching up. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Work on the lift and length through the side body. Work on the levelness of your pelvis and the alignment of the front of the mat and front of pelvis. And exhale, bring your hands down. We're moving through that flow again. Step back with your left foot. Let's move straight to downward facing dog from here. Keep extending through the arms. Keep lifting your sits bones to the sky. The very bottom of your pelvis, the bony portion of your pelvis, it's called the ischial tuberosity. You want to lift that, but then tone your belly. All right, feel your heels reach back. And feel that beautiful balance between left side and right side. Right, both hands and both feet supporting this pose. And the very center of that, right, the center of the navel, the top of your hips, reaching towards the sky. And then we'll step forward with your right foot. Step forward with your left foot. Take that halfway gaze. Again, you can leave your palms there if your palms are pressing, and you work forward. Exhale, back to forward fold. Bring your big toes together, separate your heels. Bend your knees, bring your palms together, and reach up, Utkatasana. You're in chair pose again. And then we return to Samastitihi. Inhale, big breath. Exhale, hands come down, click your heels together. Beautiful. Let's interlace the fingers. Send your hands back up to the sky. As you root through the insides of your feet, look over to the right side and reach over to the right side. And again, tone your belly. Right? Use your big toes. Push. And what you're doing by pushing into the inside of the foot is you're stabilizing your hips. Notice if you don't push through the inside, you can sort of kick your left hip out. And then if you push your feet, it kind of draws you back to center. So we want to stabilize the pelvis here through the feet. And then inhale back and lean over to the left side. Same thing here. Use the insides of your feet to stabilize your pelvis. Really work on side body stretch or lateral stretch. Keep the arms reaching. And then inhale back. Release your hands out. As you bring your fingertips to the ground, I want you to shift forward to the ball of the foot and elevate your heels. This is modified Utkatasana. If you feel comfortable there, I want you to bring your hands together before your heart. Sort of adduct. We call this adding to the midline, adduction. Squeeze in towards the midline. So squeeze your legs together. And then maybe the arms extend upward. And the belly and the navel draw in and up. And the arms are in extension. And then reach forward. And as you reach forward, you'll notice you can reach your hips way back. See if you can have a seat. Reach the arms up overhead and stretch both of your legs forward. And then carefully, exhale, bring your hands down. We're going to take our palms straight back, press your fingertips, and then press your palms as you lean into your palms. Lift your heart and lift your sternum. Draw your gaze forward. So feel your scapula reaching towards each other, squeezing in towards the midline again. So the adduction now is your shoulder blades. And then push down through your palms and press your shoulders away from your ears. Notice how that gives you a little bit of freedom to really open through the front of the body, the pectoral muscles, pectoralis, major and minor. And feel that swell of your lungs. So really stretching the deeper layers of your lungs. Keep your chin slightly tucked to protect your neck. You should feel some heat building in your body. And then push off of your fingers, coming to an upright spine, reach your hands up. Exhale, let's pull the left knee in. And as you pull that in, we want to make sure that the ischial tuberosity, the sits bones, again, are firmly rooted to the earth. So try not to lift your left sits bone here, just keep it rooted. That might mean nudging your left foot forward a little bit. You're working with not only the muscle body, but you're working with your physical bone structure here. So if your shin bone is longer than your femur bone, or vice versa, it's going to determine how far you can bring your heel forward and still root your sits bones. So don't worry about how close your foot is. Worry about your sits bones rooted. And upright spine. And then feel your left knee draw closer to the midline. You're going to squeeze it in towards the right side a little bit, and then take a twist. Right? Hug that left knee towards the right side as you twist to the left, rooting your palm. Try not to lean back. Root your palm, lift your spine, lengthen your spine, and then activate your left foot and activate your right foot as well. So right foot, toes are in towards your shin bone. You're extending through your heel. And left foot is planted firmly. And once you do that, again, elevate your spine. Work on really twisting here. And you might find that as you start twisting, your breath wants to become shallow. Breathe deeper. All right, let's bring that back to center. And as you bring it back to center, just take your left knee, let it fall out to the left side. Don't change anything else. Move forward towards your right leg. Place your hands on your mat, on your shin bone, on your foot. Some of you know about binding. You could choose to bind. There's several variations here in Janushirasana. Hinging in your right hip, start to work your abdomen towards your right thigh. And then release your shoulders and release your head. And left hip is opening any degree. But as you're breathing, feel yourself drawing out of the hips a little bit. So there's that idea of the rib cage slightly leaping forward, right? As we feel the rootedness through our sits bones. And nice, thoughtful breaths, really spacious breaths. So always invested in each moment, never waiting. How can you invest in this moment? It's a wonderful way to work through any tension or tightness, right? Invest in the body and the breath instead. It's also a wonderful way to get to know your body, right? We're not bored in our poses. Invest in the breath, in the body. Be here. like to explain it as stay near to your body and your breath. And then inhale, reach your hands up. And as you exhale your hands down, you can bring your left knee back and then extend your left leg out. One of my teachers has told me, don't say things like, we'll draw our right knee in, a lotus blossom blooming in your heart, because all it does is it makes people dream about things. It has nothing to do with the breath, and it has nothing to do with the body. So we want to remember to stay near to the body and near to the breath. What's physically happening? How can you investigate? And there might be the element of forgetting about the physical body so that we can find our growth, our personal growth. But then we still have to move into the spaciousness of the breath. Right, so give yourself a nice tight hug. Draw the right knee towards the midline slightly. Rotate to the right side. Root your right palm. And stay near to your body and your breath. So right here, fully invested. Stay curious and investigate. The senses can serve us in wonderful ways. And then carefully come back. And as you come back, let your right knee fall out to the side. Start to move forward, hinge forward. See what happens. As you move forward, maybe your hands come down. Maybe the knee starts to drop. Hinging in the left hip. Starting to release your heart and your sternum. Right? The physical heart, right? Your lungs, the crown of your head, your forehead. And breathe. Right here in your breath and in your body. Breathe. And then when we're in the balance of breathing and in the balance of investigating the physical sensations, right, we have to find the middle way or balance between the two. That doesn't mean pushing or forcing. It means notice the effort needed, or notice the appropriate effort. You'll hear me say, gently, carefully move. Right? I might be asking for a lot, but I still want you to move gently and carefully. And we can deepen when we move gently and carefully. Find your breath. Coming back, reaching up. Release your right leg out. Arms reach to the sky. And then place your palms. Let's cross the ankles. We're going to move forward. And if you can, roll over your knees. Otherwise, if you need to move differently, that's okay. Step back with your feet. Make your way to plank pose. And then downward facing dog. What's different? What do you notice in your body? What's different in this downward facing dog? What is physically more present? All right, let's step to the front of the mat with our right foot. Left foot, take that halfway gaze. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to standing, palms together, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look out. Step back to plank again and lower to the earth. Upward facing dog. Make your way to downward facing dog. And this time, step forward with your right foot and open up for Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. So your arms are out and open. We feel this bend in our left knee, and if you just slightly gaze off your left knee, you can see your toes. Line of energy across your shoulders, shoulders relax down. Rooted through the outer edge of your right foot. Draw your navel in and up, open up the front of your pelvis. And then release your hands down, bring your hands together before your heart. Parallel feet. So elevate your left toes and bring them in. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, as your hands come out to the sides, elevate your right heel and draw it in. Warrior Two, right side. Just breathing here. And then carefully straighten both of your legs. Tip yourself over. So maybe your right hand comes to your shin. If you can keep that left side open and you can lean, you might bring your peace sign fingers to your right big toe. But don't lean forward. Right? Keep it open. Move your shoulders back. Move your pelvis forward. Reach and lift from the left side. Right? Wherever you are, belly rotating upward. Rib cage rotating upward. This is triangle, Utthita Trikonasana. Point of energy, reaching up. Top of the triangle, reaching upward. And then rise back to center. Parallel your feet. Bring your left heel in. Straight legs, reach your hands out. Reaching slightly forward, tip yourself over. And make your decision here. Maybe you're on your shin. Maybe leaning and clasping your big toe. Open up your shoulders, stack your shoulders. Keep the rib cage turned up. Right, feel your breath. Energetically and muscularly rising towards the sky. Not leaning towards the earth, rising upward towards the sky. And then look down and bring your right hand down. As you lunge in your left knee, you're going to pivot on the ball of the right foot and step back with your left foot. Downward facing dog, reaching back. Drop down to the knees. Press back for child's pose, Balasana. Roll your spine to upward facing dog. Elevate your shins if possible. Elevate your hips up and back for downward facing dog and breathe. All right, let's step forward with the right foot and rise to the tips of the fingers. Elevate your left leg high. Right, maybe reach your right hand forward slightly. If possible, place your left hand on your left hip and open up your left hip to the sky. Toes in towards your shin bone. Just breathing there. If you like, you can reach to the sky with your left hand. Shoulders are stacked here. This is Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. And now point your toes away. If your hand is on your hip, you can leave it on your hip. If your hand is reaching, take your left hand down and reach it out until it is in line with your ear. So essentially your fingers and your toes are in the same plane. This is another variation of Digasana, which is our half moon pose, or Ardha Chandrasana. Reaching, breathing, your best effort. Again, your hand could be on your hip, that's okay too. And then carefully, look down, hand comes down. Close your hips, put your foot down, bend your knees, reach up. Let's take a full vinyasa in between. Hands come to the earth, forward fold. Gaze and lengthen. You can walk, step, or jump back. Lower to the earth. Upward facing dog. Make your way to downward facing dog. 5 full breaths, so exhale. Breath begins after your exhale. Inhale, big breath. And 4 more breaths. Beautiful. As you inhale, step forward with your left foot. Elevate to your fingers and lift your right leg. Toes in towards your shin bone. If you want, you can nudge your left hand forward. As you push off the left hand and the left leg, right hand to your hip, toes in towards your shin bone. Breathing there. As you continue to open, you might decide to reach. That could also be opening your gaze. Right, breathing. Again, your best effort. Keep your right leg lifted. Reaching from the inner lining of your left leg too. And then point. And maybe changing the variation of the arm. Reaching out. One line all the way down the right side. Opening that up. And when you're ready, hand comes down. Close your hips, foot comes back. Palms together, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Walk, step, or jump back to plank, lower to the earth. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And then we'll jump to the front of the mat and have a seat. Coming down to your back. Take a full body stretch. Arms and legs reaching. And then step your feet to the earth and rock your knees from side to side. And then very carefully, peace sign fingers to your right big toe. Stretching your right foot to the sky, releasing your left hand out to the side. You can use your left foot to stabilize here. Start to externally rotate. That means right toes are reaching towards your right shoulder. And then carefully keep your pelvis level. Right leg reaches out to the sky, out to the side as your left knee reaches out to the left side. And then bringing that back to center. Stretch your left leg out. Let's bend the knee. Draw the knee, right knee, over to the left side as you look to the right. And gaze to the right. Yeah. Keep the extension of your left leg. Take your time rotating your sacrum, rotating your hips, maybe twisting even deeper. You could nudge your shoulders too. So if it serves you, reach to the outside of your foot and extend your right leg straight out. Maybe. If that serves you today, you can. And if you're holding your foot or the back of your right knee, release that. Make your way to full body stretch again, arms and legs, one line. Exhale, pull your knees in. Good. Set your right foot down, peace sign fingers to your left big toe, send your left leg towards the sky. Right arm reaches out from the shoulder. Carefully, externally rotate. Left big toes are pointing towards your left shoulder. Right? And as you rotate from the femur bone, extend outward to the left side. Right knee can move to the right side. And then carefully inhale, left leg back. Release your right leg. As you bend your left knee, take it across to the right side of the body, gazing, looking to the left side, reaching with the left hand. You can stay there and breathe there, or maybe reaching to the outside of your left foot with your right hand, extending your right leg out. Again, any nudge of the shoulders is okay. Just doing your best to breathe. Carefully release your hand. Come back to center. Take that full body stretch, everything out. And then step your feet to the earth. Rock a little bit from side to side. Release your palms. And eventually settle into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly. So knees out, bottom of your feet together. Settling and relaxing along the spine. You can readjust your shoulder plates. Relax your jaw and your tongue and your eyes. Find the balance between the left and right side of your pelvis. Surrendering the muscles of the legs. Feel the heaviness of your joints. Feel the heaviness of your bones. And let this time be still. Let it be invested for the well-being and goodness. kindly breathing in and out. Softening from the inside out. Thank yourself for the radiance and beauty, the presence you bring to your practice, for the kindness and care that you bring to your practice. Knowing that that extends outward into your life experience, reminding you to be patient and kind, generous of heart. And then separate your toes. Bringing the knees back together, extend your legs. Move your head, move your fingers, move your toes, move your ankles. And a full body stretch. And carefully roll to the right side of your body. And use your fingers, use your hands to help yourself up to some kind of seat. Bringing your hands together before your heart, bowing to that internal space. I thank you for sharing. I thank you for your own self-care. And knowing the connectedness to all beings and all things. Namaste.